Welcome to our Teletech free Prezi and alternative to PowerPoint. My name is Corinne Rupert and I'm going to be walking you through kind of an overview of Prezi, what it is, kind of the benefits to using Prezi, and also we're going to do a demo of the tool itself and show you how to create just kind of a basic Prezi. So before we get started, I know that you probably have seen the chat. If you have any questions, please post those to the chat and I will answer them as soon as possible. If you have a question later on following our program, also you can feel free to email me. My email is Corinne, C-A-R-Y-N, @soida.org, and I will be more than happy to answer any and all of your Prezi related questions. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually go through a brief presentation, just kind of, again, an overview of Prezi, what it is, what it has to offer. And the first thing you're going to notice when we get into this presentation is the sensation of zooming or of the presentation being animated. Prezi is an online zooming presentation tool. So that is one thing that's going to make it kind of an exciting tool to use either for yourself or with your students. So let's get zooming. There we go. So a lot of us have probably given presentations before, and you know, as educators, we present every day to our students where we're standing up in front of a crowd, okay, and everyone's kind of looking at you. And I think probably the most popular method of presenting, aside from you know, traditional lecture, projects and activities, if you're going to do a presentation, probably the most popular tool that's used is PowerPoint or its Apple counterpart, Keynote. And those are, you know, your basic, you create slides, you put content on them, they're linear, you go from one slide to another, maybe a video animation in there, here or there, but they're basically pretty predictable. And sometimes, depending on the presentation, they can be a little boring, a little bland. Okay, Prezi is going to offer us some options that we don't have with those traditional presentation tools, and hopefully those options are going to kind of help us to spice up our presentations. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what Prezi is. Now, I'm going to have the co-founder of Prezi in his video that he put out kind of tell you a little bit about it, and then we'll go from there. So let me get out of the way and let him give you a little explanation.
When I first had the idea for Prezi, I didn't plan to start a company. I just needed a tool to help develop and share my ideas, and I found other presentation software far too restricting.
Prezi allows you to throw ideas and images onto an open canvas, resize and move these images around so you can show their relative importance. You can also group concepts together and then zoom out to show the big picture. Presenting ideas in a visually engaging way will keep your audience awake. Prezi Meeting makes it easy to co-develop a presentation with team members in multiple locations. The Prezi Viewer iPad app gives you the ultimate freedom and mobility to share your ideas one-on-one with anyone, anywhere, anytime.
We can't wait to see what you come up with.
Sign up for Prezi today. Happy Zooming!
All right, so they covered a lot of the various aspects and features of Prezi in that short little video, but basic overview, zooming presentation tool. We're going to be creating these online. It's going to be free. We're going to talk about those licenses here in just a second. Works on a canvas. So when we get into Prezi, you're going to start with this big, huge blank canvas, and then you insert your content and move from area to area. So you will have complete control over where you go, how you go there, and who sees what when you're presenting. They also mentioned the Prezi iPad app. It is a great app and it is free. Just sign in with your account and you can access and view your Prezis that way. Okay, so that's just kind of an overview of the tool and some of the features. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about why I think Prezi is a good option, a good tool to use to present your information. All right, and the obvious comparison that we're going to draw is the comparison between Prezi and a more traditional presentation tool such as PowerPoint or Keynote. I'm going to pop out of the screen here so I don't get in the way. But we're going to compare those two different types of tool, Prezi and a more traditional route. So with Prezi, I think the biggest advantage that you are going to have here, other than it just being visually different and engaging, is the fact that Prezi is collaborative. Once we're done with this presentation, I do have another short video on Prezi Meeting. Prezi Meeting allows up to 10 people to collaborate in real time on a Prezi. Okay, and this is really big. You know, as we move toward integrating the Common Core and focusing on that, research and projects and things like that I think are going to get more and more attention, and a lot of times part of the research process or working on projects is collaborating and working with others. So Prezi does offer you a collaborative option, whereas a more traditional tool is single user. And if you were going to collaborate on one of those traditional slide type presentations, you would either have to be sharing a machine and going back and forth, or you would be emailing versions back and forth and constantly saving and trying to keep up with the latest version that's being created, and that can be a little overwhelming to do. So the collaboration feature is definitely a huge plus. Another advantage to Prezi is the free-flowing layout. A lot of us maybe aren't necessarily linear thinkers. Another nice thing about Prezi is that you can quickly and easily change the flow of your presentation. It's very easy to manipulate, reorder, and all of that stuff. Whereas with a traditional slide presentation, it's more linear. Okay? Now, if you're a linear thinker and that works for you, that's great. You know, feel free to continue using what works for you. But if you're looking for something different, or if you don't really think that way, Prezi is a nice option. Now, for those of you linear thinkers that are really excited and want to use Prezi, Prezi does have kind of a linear organization in the path, and you will see that when we get in there. So don't think that just because it's not singularly linear that it's not for you. Okay. Another nice kind of plus, and I'm going to pop back in here because I don't think I'm going to be in the way anymore, to Prezi is the fact that you're able to visually show relationships, and you can show that with the zoom, the movement, by moving from one object to the next, or you can use these layouts such as the scale I'm using. You have arrows, all kinds of things, and the zooming in and out. I can zoom in to something that maybe is a subordinate topic to my other topics, things like that. So it's very easy to draw those relationships other than just putting them on the same slide, for example. With the traditional route, you're not going to have that big picture where you are moving in and out and from one thing to another. You're just going, you know, from slide to slide. And finally, I think the thing that kind of puts it over the top is that Prezi is interactive. So even though I have a predetermined path for this presentation, if I wanted to zoom out, I could zoom out. If I wanted to drag over, I can drag over. I can move this at any point in time while I'm viewing it. So you're not constricted by that path that you are assigning to your Prezi. All right, let's talk about Prezi for educators and what you're going to be offered here. Okay, Prezi does have some paid licensing options, but we're going to talk about the free ones here. So the public free option, what public would get for zero money, nothing. Public presentations. All of your presentations would be public. Everyone would be able to see them. You would be able to determine whether or not others could copy your presentations, but they're all going to be out there in the world. Okay? You'll get the core features where you can share and edit your Prezis, and you get 100 megabytes of storage space. So you can keep a couple Prezis in there. I mean, it's a modest amount of storage, but enough to hold a couple. Now, when we go in and sign up, and I will show you where to access this particular area, there is an option for teacher and student licenses, and that is what you're going to want to do. Okay? if you choose to get the Prezi teacher or student license, you're going to get what they call their EDU, the Enjoy EDU account. And again, that is free, but what you're going to get is kind of an upgrade for nothing. Okay, you're going to be able to choose to keep your presentations private. That means that you can keep them entirely private, or you can just send a link to 1 or 2 people and share that way, whereas with the public account you didn't have that option. You're also going to be able to show your own logo. In a traditional Prezi, in the public account, there's going to be a Prezi logo down in the bottom corner, but with this one you're going to be able to use your own logo instead. So if you have a school logo or mascot or a personal or business logo that you want to use, you can put that down in the corner. You'll have access to premium support, and you'll get 500 megabytes of storage, so 5 times the storage. Okay, so we of course want to get the free teacher account. I mentioned the meeting before. You will be able to collaborate with Prezi Meeting. You can invite others at any point in time to come and collaborate, and they can work on the Prezi whether you're in it or not. You can all work in it together, or you can work on it at different times. But you can, again, have up to 10 people in that meeting at once. All right. Now, your sharing options. Your first option is going to be to share via link. So you can share your Prezi just by sending or emailing a link out to others. You can also present live. So if you are presenting at a conference or something like that, you can open your Prezi up and present live, or you can present remotely and invite others to view. So if you are, in California and you've got some coworkers in several other states and you want to present to them, you say, okay, at this point in time, I'm going to present this. Here's the link, and they can log in, or follow that link rather, and view your Prezi presentation at that time. All right. Okay, so that's just kind of an overview of Prezi. We're going to go ahead and get out of this presentation, and I am going to, before we get into Prezi, I'm going to log out of here. I'm going to show you that Prezi meeting video. Okay, watch just part of it. It's a little longer than 2 minutes. Okay, so this is just a nice example of how you can use Prezi and Prezi meeting in the classroom with your students.
We're doing Prezi meeting to make a project because it's fun and easy.
In class here we were looking this morning at ecosystems and relationships, and by dividing students up into their own particular collaborative groups, students were able to use Prezi meeting to develop their ideas on the different types of roles and relationships within this. So they were taking that research and putting it on Prezi so they could organise their ideas collaboratively and then talk through the points on how and what more they needed to include within that. In class here we're getting students to look at Prezi meeting, and basically it's just a way to get students to collaborate with each other over their ideas, and they can see how their ideas are transforming and working together to change it, make improvements, and also develop their ideas as they go along.
Okay, so that just kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like to be involved in a Prezi meeting, and of course they wouldn't need to be sitting right next to each other, but that was 6th graders using it, so it's definitely, I think, intuitive enough to use with your students, so no fear in that regard. Okay, so one more thing, and I forgot to mention this, but if you did not get the handout for this presentation and you would like it, you're probably already on our PD for You website, and the address for that is pd4u.org. If you're watching the stream, you're already there. But what you're going to want to do to get this handout, you're going to go to Video Streams, and then Teletech Resources is going to be an option, and it's on the second page of those resources. And there are two different handouts on here. The first one is Prezi's new look. When we get into Prezi, it's going to actually show us a couple things that is new. So if you are a Prezi user who has not used Prezi in the past couple months, you're going to be in for a real treat. They've updated a lot of things. It's going to look really different. And then the second handout, Working with Prezi, that's going to be a full-on walkthrough of the tool. It's going to talk about all the different options that you have, and kind of walks you through the process of creating a Prezi. Okay, so those are there for your use if you choose. I'm going to go ahead and go to Prezi's website, prezi.com. And I logged out so that I can kind of show you what you do to sign up. So this is the website. They always have all kinds of videos on here, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So to sign up, you're going to go to the sign up button, and they have their public licensing options. So they have their public, which is free. The Enjoy is $4.92 a month, and the Pro is $13.25 a month. Okay, what we're going to do is scroll down, and under Enjoy, there's student and teacher licenses. So the EDU Enjoy is basically you get that Enjoy account that's normally $4.92 a month for the public for free. And they also have the Pro EDU where you get the premium account, which was I think nearly $14 a month for the $4.92 price. And what you're getting with the Pro account, you're going to be able to work offline. You're going to be able to download Prezi Desktop and work on that. If you are interested in that, they have that, I think, for a free download if you check that out, for a free trial. I think it's 30-day trial. And you're also going to get 2 gigs of storage, so a lot more storage. Those are really the only differences. Okay, so you're going to go here for the EDU Enjoy or Enjoy EDU account and click on that, and you're going to sign up with an email address. So you will need an email address if you want to create student accounts. That's one thing to keep in mind. You always want to use your school email address because that is how they kind of verify that you are indeed an educator and are entitled to the free upgrade. All right, so use your school account. I'm going to go ahead and sign up. Oh, one more thing I should mention. If you already have a Prezi account and you don't have the EDU account, you can upgrade at any time. So I'm going to log in, actually. Okay. Okay, so if you need to do that upgrade, you're going to go up into your account. You're going to log in, go to Settings, and you'll have an account and license. Okay, and if you don't already have the EDU Enjoy, you'll click on Upgrade Your License here, and you'll be able to upgrade that. All right, I'm going to go back to the home page. So we have 3 different areas to look at. The first one, and they're all located up at the top here, the first one is the Your Prezis, and this is my personal collection of Prezis, and this can be Prezis that I have created or Prezis that I have made a copy of. Okay, that other people have created. They've said that others can copy it so that I can add my own content. Okay. Then we have the Learn section. The Learn section is fabulous. Prezi really wants you to use this tool. They're really helpful. You will have access to that premium support at all times, but you can also come into the Learn section, and they have some videos here that walk you through creating a Prezi. Okay? If you have some different questions, you can come up here. There's a manual. This is the online manual. It walks you through all different scenarios. So for example, if I don't know, I'm looking that my Prezi zoomed away and I can't find it, I can click here and get some help with that. Some other nice things that they offer. Let me go back one beat here. They offer free live webinars as well that you can take and watch and learn more about Prezi. So there's lots and lots of help available on Prezi.com. The third section that we're going to visit before we go into building our Prezi is the Explore section. I'm going to click on that. The Explore section is where you're going to find all those Prezis that other people have created that they have made public. And there's two different types of public Prezis. There's just the basic public one that you can view and you can like it and things like that. Or there's the Prezis that are public and copyable. And if they're public and copyable, that means that I can make a copy, save it to my Prezi section, and then I can add my own content or alter the content in that Prezi. Okay. One thing that I encourage you to do is spend a little time in the Explore section. You can search for Prezis. There's lots of Prezis that are already out there that have already been created. So if you do a unit on the water cycle, maybe come in here and see if there is a Prezi on that unit. Maybe there's one that looks like you might be interested in it. Oh, this one looks like this might be interesting. Now she's really gone into detail. So if I really like this one, and I do think I kind of like the visual they have here, I can come down because this one was copyable, make a copy, it'll add it to my account, and then I can put my own content in it and change it. Also in the Explore section, over on the right hand side, there's the Browse by Category option, or you can scroll down here. There is an Education section. And there's a lot of great things. For example, this is a particular favorite of mine, this great jazz bassist and their influence through the ages. What I like about this one is they do one of the things I recommend, which is find a focal point for your Prezi. What's your big picture going to look like? That's the first thing I always do. What's my big picture going to look like, and how can I use that to present my information? So they've used a bass guitar, and they're using it like a timeline. Okay, so that's a nice one. And there's also some instructional ones in here. We have Martin Luther King Jr. Prezi Meeting in the Classroom is a nice one. And I know by looking at it, it's been viewed over 9,000 times. It's got a couple stars. This one is somewhat new, so it hasn't been around as long. And I can tell that I can make a copy of it because it's reusable. Okay, so spend a little time going through that Explore section. See if there's some things that are already there that someone else has created that you can use. Okay, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? All right, I'm going to go to the Your Prezi section, and I am going to click on New Prezi. So this is the first step in creating our Prezi. We're going to do kind of a tutorial here, if you will. It's going to ask me to name it. I'm going to go to Create New Prezi. All right. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet with the Prezis that is really nice too is that Prezi offers us a number of templates. We're going to be using the blank template today. My personal opinion is that when you're using Prezi, it's easiest to work with a clean slate when you're trying to learn all the little nitty-gritty details of how to do it. If you're looking for something that's already set up and you're just going to plug in a couple pieces of information and you want it to be visually stunning, these templates are wonderful. Now, if you used Prezi before, you may not be too jazzed about the templates because there were only a couple and they weren't that exciting. It's completely different now. They've added a bunch of new templates. A lot of them are really cute. A number of them are 3D. That doesn't require any glasses, doesn't require a special screen or projector. It's just that they are using the zooming aspect of the Prezi to create the illusion that you're diving into the presentation. It creates the illusion of it being three-dimensional. Okay, let me actually show you just really quickly what that feels like. So if I come in, Let's think which one was really nice in 3D. I think it was this Across the Universe one. Let me just show you really quickly. We'll come back to this, what this looks like. Okay. There we go. So see how it's almost like you're in space? They're so funny. That's what the 3D ones are going to do for you there. Okay. Let me create a new Prezi. We're going to use that blank template. So it's just going to hopefully give us a blank template. Yep, there we go. All right. So this is our Prezi. I'm going to go over everything we're looking at here before we start adding content. Okay, so this behind me is our canvas that we're working on, our big picture blank canvas. I can zoom in and out using my mouse, my mouse, and I can click and drag this canvas to manipulate it. Okay. I can also, if I want to zoom, go over to the right hand side and I have my zoom in and out buttons. All right. Now there's already an object on here and they've already added it to the path. So if I ever get in real deep and I want to get back to my home, I can come over here, click on the home. It'll take me back out to my original starting point. All right. Over on the left hand side, that is our path, and that's going to look very familiar. It looks a lot like PowerPoint where we have our lists of slides, and instead of slides, we're going to have snapshots of our stops along our path, and right now we only have one. Okay? All right. Let's go up here to the top menu and talk about these different items. So we have our present button. That's going to allow us to see what our presentation is going to look like. This one will allow us to open up a new Prezi in a new window. This is our save. Prezi does automatically save for you, but if you ever want to manually save for whatever reason, you can click that save button. We have our undo and redo buttons. Go over here. Our add frames button. Adding frames is going to allow you, one, to draw a visual frame around something, but also it allows you to group things together. So in PowerPoint, you can select multiple objects, group them so you can move them as one. Same thing here, you put a frame around it, you can move those things all together, you can increase and decrease their size all together so they maintain their proportions to each other. This also includes the layout options, and those are those fun little layouts that kind of draw those visual relationships. So when we looked earlier at the presentation I had with the scale, this is where I got that. So they have cycles, they have timelines already available, scales, just a bunch of different layouts you can use. We then have our themes, and there are a number of predetermined themes on here that you can use. Or if you want to customize your theme, I can come down here to customize current theme, and that's where I can customize every single thing. One thing I like to do, if I'm going to be using a lot of images that I've found that maybe have a white background, I just keep the white background on my Prezi because my images blend in. Something to think about. But I can come in here and change my background. I can put in a custom logo. So if I have a custom logo, Garsoida logo, I can do that so that it will appear in the corner. I'm actually going to delete that because I don't want that there. I can change the fonts. Maybe I want these to be different colors, body. Let's see, maybe I want my circle frame to be some different colors. You kind of get the idea. You can do all sorts of different things in here with this. Okay, so those are your frame or your theme customizations that you can do. We also can add images. You can add images that you've saved to your computer or that you have on your computer from a file. There's also an integrated Google image search. So if I go here, I'm looking for images. I can run that search. What's really nice, especially if you're using this with students, you can check this box here that says search only for images licensed for commercial use. If you are working with your students and talking to them about acceptable use, intellectual property, etc., and you want them to make sure they're not violating any copyright, you can tell them this is a good way to cover yourself and make sure you're only using things that you have permission to use. And then I can scroll through all these options. So if I wanted to use this one, I would say okay. It's going to process that. Sometimes it does take a moment, so we have to be patient. But once it does, I can manipulate this. So I think this is a good time to talk about the zebra tool. And the zebra tool is the tool that you have that allows you to manipulate your objects. So you click on your object, and this is going to be familiar. They haven't changed this tool yet if you've used Prezi before. So the inner circle is a hand. That's my grab. So I can grab that and move it around. The next circle is zoom, so I can grab that, zoom in and out. I can also, if I don't want to zoom the actual object again, you can use your scroll bar to zoom in and out. The outer circle allows me to rotate. What's nice is if I rotate this so it looks like this, and then I want to add it to my path, okay, it's going to rotate it upside. If I have it upside down, it's going to rotate it so it's right side up. So if I go to present, it will rotate it back around. That's how we're getting some of our illusions of of animation and movement. Okay. Oops. All right. Let me zoom out here a little bit. It's being so sassy. Oh my goodness. There we go. All right. And then we have our edit button, which looks like a little pencil. In the case of images, that allows you to crop your images. In the case of text, it's going to open up your edit so you can change your text color, things like that. And then finally the trash, which is what I'm going to do with that right now. Okay. We also have shapes. That's going to be your arrows, your lines, your rectangles. Just like with the frames, remember the frames will group objects. If you put a shape around an object, that will group it as well. And you have your pencil and highlighter so you can draw on here. Something new that they've added, they have now added over 200 symbols. So these are just some little symbols. They're all kind of color coordinated. They're all similar. So that adds some fluidity if you want to use some of these in your presentation. So those are kind of cute. We'll be using some of those today because I like them. We also have media that we can add, so we can add media from a file, so you can upload your own media. That includes movies, PDF files. It'll put each page of a PDF on here. You can also put a shockwave flash content, so if you have a little animation, it'll come in and it'll play in a loop. Or you can add from YouTube, and if you add from YouTube, it's going to want that URL. So if you want to use a YouTube video, I recommend finding that YouTube video so you already have the URL and put it in. And that's just kind of good practice with Prezi because there's so many things you can do. I recommend getting all your content together before you get started. Kind of like if you were making a poster, you would go get your poster board and your writing utensils and you would get all your pictures you're going to put on it. Kind of do the same thing with your Prezi. So you're just working there and you have all your stuff ready. All right. And then the last thing as far as content that we can insert is a PowerPoint. I'm going to show you that in just 1 second because I want to go over these options up here. All right. These are kind of your control panel. So the ones with the little bodies, that's where you can start an online presentation. You can share that via a link or you can invite others to edit. The inviting others to edit is inviting them to Prezi meeting. You can print, and if you print, what that's going to do is each step along the path, each point along the path is going to be a page in a PDF. You have your settings, which is the aspect screen ratio, your help, and then this little guy is going to save and close your Prezi and take you out of there. Okay? All right. I am going to delete this. and I want to talk real briefly about PowerPoint. A lot of us are familiar with PowerPoints, and a lot of us probably have a lot of PowerPoints that we've already created and used. And you know, to transition everything to Prezi, if you think you might want to do that, that would be a huge undertaking. Except that Prezi allows you to upload PowerPoints. And those of you that maybe have done this in the past, it used to be frustrating. It would just upload all of your slides and just spew them out onto the screen, and they'd be all willy-nilly, and you'd have to put them into a path. They've changed it. They've made it really easy. I have an example on here. Okay, so I'm going to upload my PowerPoint, and it's going to offer me some layouts based on the number of slides. Your first slide, your title slide, is going to be the main focus, and then it's going to go from slide to slide to slide in order. So I'm going to say insert all, and then I have over here my options, and I only really have 3 slides, so maybe maybe the bubbles here, or no, we'll do this one. This one looks good. So it's going to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to the end. And I only have 3, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to say add a path between your slides so it knows to go from one place to the next. I'm going to hit insert, and it's done. It's absolutely done for me. Zero work. I took a PowerPoint that I already had created, and I've added a little interest to it. So I'm going to say present. Let's see what this looks like. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. It's pretty exciting. And it is even, I should point out, taken the text that was in my Prezi and aligned it to the theme. So this was not the original text or font in color. It's put it in with the theme that I've selected. So that's kind of cool. All right. I am going to come up here, and I'm going to create a new Prezi so we can kind of go through the process of creating a Prezi here. Okay, so I mentioned that what I like to do, blank, thank you, and I'm going to delete this guy. What I like to do is kind of create a focal point. So I'm going to adjust my theme here really quickly, because I am going to do kind of a holiday theme here. It's lovely. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Good enough. Done. So I have already found an image that I would like to use. So I'm going to go up to images here from file. Get my Christmas tree up here. I'm going to grab it with my zebra tool and use that inner circle to enlarge it. Alright, and then I'm zooming out. So I'm going to add some text. I can click anywhere to add text. Okay, I'm going to make that title text. I can grab this. And I have some options here. I can increase, decrease the font size. I can change my font color. I have even more options here, so I'm going to align that in the center. And you can see when I align this, I get that little grid, so I know those are lined up. So that's nice. Now I want these things to be grouped together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a frame. I think I would like a rectangular frame. And there it is, and I think that needs to be moved up. So now, if I wanted to move these things, I can just grab this frame and move everything. All right. And when you add a frame, you may notice it automatically adds a step to your path. So that makes it really, really easy. Okay. Let's add some things to this tree. I'm going to be working a lot with the symbols here. So I'm going to come in here, and I think there were some little guys that looked kind of like Christmas ornaments, or they could be, I guess. I am going to use that. So there's 1, 2, and these are going to be my stops along my path. So you can see I have my focal point, and these kind of go with that focal point, and we're going to kind of be traveling along our tree here from 1, 2, 3, and maybe we can put a little star on top of there just to be festive. Adorable. All right, so now I'm going to zoom in. This is kind of fun. This is one of those things I like to do, starting further out so you can zoom in and hide content. So we're going to zoom in here, and the first thing we want to do is say, oops, okay, okay, what are we going to be doing? And I think that this needs to be in a different font here. So what are we doing? And I'm going to add an image that goes with that. And I need to edit that because I don't have a question mark. Always forgetting those darn question marks. I'm going to add an image. I think we'll be baking Christmas cookies. That sounds good. Okay. And I would like these little things here grouped together so I can visit them all at once. And the other reason you might want to group things together with a frame is because if something's in a frame, you can animate it to fade in, which we're going to do here in a moment. But I'm going to add a frame. But since these are supposed to kind of look like Christmas ornaments, I'm going to add an invisible frame. So I can see the frame, but when I present, that frame's not going to show up. So even though that's visually there now, it won't be later. Say, what are we going to do this? Okay. Who is going to be coming? Let's add some little people. They have so many cute little people on here now. Okay, and then our next question, I think that's a little big. Where are we going to be doing this? And I think there was even a house, which is just adorable. That will work perfectly. Okay. And I think I forgot to add my frames. So let's go in and add those frames around these guys too. Okay, go up and add a little something to our star. And then let's see what this is going to look like zoomed out. I kind of like that. I think it needs a little something else, maybe some shapes. I can drag that out here. And we'll have another arrow. That is not where I want it. Okay. So those almost look like garland. Isn't that adorable? All right, so let's go back to our home page there. And now I'm going to kind of look at my path. So I think I need to add another thing to my path. I'm going to click Edit. I think I would like to go to my star, and then I'm going to come in here and zoom in where it says Happy Holidays. Okay. And now I'm going to go in and talk about those animations. So for each one of these, once I'm in that edit path, you see this little star here? I'm I'm going to click on that. That's going to open up my animation options. And I want this circle to be here when we start, but not the words. So I'm going to say what? That's going to roll in, and then my cookies. And I can hit play, and it will show me how that's going to work. Sounds great. I'm going to come here, animate it. Looks good. Animate. I'm going to do that for each one of these guys. That one looks good. I think that one's, so I'm going to say I'm done. Now, if I wanted to add a point at any point, for example, if I wanted to go from 1 and then I wanted to go to holiday celebrations, or if I wanted holiday celebrations to be here, and then go to the frame, I could do that. Okay, do you see how that's kind of different? I can just drag these wherever I want them. All right, I'm actually going to get rid of that one because I think that looks better. Okay, so I'm done. I think we're ready to see what that's going to look like, so I'm going to hit present. Sometimes you have to hit that home button to get everything oriented when you hit present. So if it's off a little bit, hit the home button, and then we can go through. And that's it. Okay, now you can see it can be a little overwhelming. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of great options. I will warn you, the first time you make a Prezi and you're zooming in and out, and maybe you're doing some flips and things like that, you may make yourself seasick. Do not become frustrated. Just keep working with it, and it kind of comes, and you kind of establish your own flow with the Prezi. Just don't start using your Prezi on a presentation that you have to present in an hour. That's just a little tip, little tidbit to keep in mind. So I am going to, now that I'm done, I'm going to go up to that button in the far upper right hand corner, the save and exit. That's going to take us to the dashboard for this Prezi. I just want to show you a couple things. Here we have our edit option, so you can always come back and edit your Prezi later. View together is going to give me that link to start a real-time Prezi presentation. And that's also so people can come edit it. You can download your Prezis to present offline. That works really well as long as you don't have a video that's tied to a YouTube URL, because it's going to pull from that URL. So if you have a video in there that's from a URL, it won't play. Everything else will work, but it won't play. You can save a copy. So if I liked this and I want to do something similar but just make a couple changes, I could save a copy and I would still have my original. And then I can also share, and that's going to be opening up my full share menu. So I can share so people can view it, I can share so people can edit it, and that's also where I'm going to get my embed code. So if you ever need to embed this in a website or something, you can do that here. And then I have my privacy options. Because I have that Enjoy EDU, I can keep this private. I can make it public or make it public and copyable. And again, if you make it public and copyable, others are going to be able to copy it and change it, add their own content. One thing I think is a good idea, if you're going to use this with students, you may want to make a Prezi that's kind of a template for them, make it public and copyable, then they can make a copy of it and follow your template, especially when you first get started. And then the last thing that I wanted to share is this little trash can. So if that Prezi makes you seasick and you're done with it, you can trash it. Okay, so that's how you delete your Prezis. All right. Well, I know we covered a lot of information. Again, you have my email, corinne@soida.org. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer all of your Prezi related questions, or if you have any issues, just contact me and I will help you out. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Have a wonderful time playing with Prezi. Thanks again.